From the boxing world being shocked by the announcement to everyone wondering who's gonna win the fight, here's everything we know about the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Mike, I've wanted to knock you the fuck out.
After making light work of his last opponent, Paul didn't waste any time before announcing his next opponent. And to everyone's surprise, it's none other than the man, the myth, and the legend, Iron Mike Tyson. On the 7th of March, Paul made the blockbuster announcement on his Instagram when he posted a picture of the official fight poster and captioned it, "The biggest fight of the 21st century." He then went on to say that he has his sights set on becoming a world champion and sees the fight against Mike as a chance to prove how good he is.
Jake, we got the biggest deal ever. You versus Mike Tyson, live on Netflix. You're gonna entertain millions of people and make an unbelievable amount of money. What do you think?
After that, the problem child said he was gonna put Iron Mike to sleep. So when's the fight going to happen? Well, it's slated for the 20th of July in Dallas, Texas, in the biggest arena in the United States of America, the AT&T Stadium. So you already know it's gonna be an epic night. And what's interesting about this bout is the fact that it won't be on pay-per-view, but instead it's gonna be streamed by Netflix worldwide.
In July.
Dude.
On Netflix.
Now for the fight details, there is a lot we don't know, but I'll try my best to tell you all that we do know. For starters, we know that both men are fighting at heavyweight, so the problem child is moving up from cruiserweight, his usual weight class. But now let's talk about the question that's on everyone's mind. Is this going to be a legit professional boxing match, or is it just going to be a lame exhibition? After all, Mike's decades older than Jake Paul, so many have wondered if it's even safe for Tyson to be competing against him. People such as Eddie Hearn, Conor McGregor, Dana White, and even Frank Warren have all publicly expressed their concern for Mike for this reason. Because of this, many speculated that it'd be an exhibition match and that both men would wear headgear. In fact, Derek Chisora went so far as to say that he knows for a fact that they are using 18-ounce gloves and headgear. But Ariel Helwani reported some news to the contrary, which is likely to make you guys happy. He claimed that they're still working on a few important details and that they want it to be a pro fight, but that's up to the Texas Commission. He went on to say, "I'm told heavyweight rounds, they're working on that as well. I'm told there's absolutely no headgear involved." So it seems like the bout might just be a pro fight. And if that's the case, then at least there's something to look forward to. After all, in an exhibition match, there's not much on the line and the boxers are kind of just out there having fun rather than trying to do much damage. But if it's a legit boxing match, then we might be treated to some action-packed rounds. Either way, even though Mike Tyson's a superstar, many people are confused as to why Paul's fighting Tyson anyway. Jake keeps claiming that he wants to be a legit pro boxer. But besides the Tommy Fury fight, all he's done is fight old, washed-up UFC fighters, journeymen, and Nate Robinson. He needs to start fighting credible boxers, but he keeps refusing to. Everyone thought that he'd finally have a fight against a good boxer after his last bout. But instead, he's chosen to go for a boxing veteran once again. In fact, Tyson's older than every other dude Paul has faced. As you can imagine, that's confusing everyone in the combat sports world. Because if you claim to be a real boxer, why aren't you fighting real boxers? Kamaru Usman said it best. Do you want to be taken seriously as a boxer, or do you want to just be that famous YouTuber who did the boxing thing? Usman said that he thinks Jake has the potential to become a good boxer, but that it's hard to respect him if he keeps doing stupid fights like the one with Mike. It also doesn't make much sense for Tyson to accept the fight either, because why does he want to risk looking like a fool? Yeah, I know it's Mike Tyson we're talking about. And he looked good when he went up against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020, but Paul's a 27-year-old who's obviously going to be much faster than Roy. Paul's entering the prime of his career, so his strength and chin are obviously at their best, while Mike's an old man. So let's be real, there's a pretty good chance that he could get knocked out by Paul. And even worse, he could be bribed to take the loss. Either way, the outcome's beyond embarrassing for Mike because we all know and love him as this tough SOB who could knock out anyone. But if he loses to a clown like Jake Paul, Tyson will be a joke as well. And that's the last thing any of us want. It seems like Mike only accepted this fight because he knows he'll make tens of millions from it. But that's a terrible reason to put your legacy on the line. That said, since it's obvious that this is a cash grab, it's also possible that both men agree not to go too hard so that neither man loses in embarrassing fashion, but that'll just make for a super boring fight. Of course, Paul and Tyson are trying their best to make it seem as if they plan on knocking each other out. I mean, just look at the training videos Mike posted on social media. In both videos, Tyson can be seen going to work. and his punches look as sharp and powerful as ever. His jabs and body shots look insane, and even his head and foot movements look fantastic. So people are actually expecting him to bring the fight to the problem child. At the end of the first video, Mike said, "It's day one, the fun has just begun." And in the second video, he asked Jake, "Still want to f*** with me?" Paul replied to this by saying, "Yes, yes I do." Both videos were viewed millions of times, and as I told you, they made fans think Tyson could deal with Jake easily. But some believe that the training footage shouldn't be taken so seriously. In fact, Chael Sonnen said that Tyson posted the video to get views and that he isn't actually training as hard as the video makes it seem. According to the American Gangster, in the future, if you're going to spend 5 seconds hitting mitts as a way of making the audience believe you're doing a training session, make sure you splash water on your face and t-shirt first. So he believes that Mike isn't doing any training before or after he shoots these montages. If that's true, then he won't be able to last for long against Jake, especially if it's a 10 to 12 round fight. Even Campbell Hatton has reservations about the training videos, as he believes they give the wrong impression. He pointed to the fact that just because Mike looks good on the pads and in training, doesn't mean he'll look as good in the ring. After all, as Hatton points out, Tyson had lost most of his punch resistance in the early 2000s, so it's obviously way worse now. That's why Campbell thinks this is all sad to see, especially because if Paul goes out there and KOs him, because of punch resistance and age, you don't want the kids thinking Paul has got the better of him. Obviously, Tyson will disregard all of these comments and claim to be training super hard. And of course, he claims that he'll finish him. But will that really be the case? Even though the matchup's very odd because of the age gap, it's hard to say who will win because at the end of the day, Tyson is Tyson. He still has a lot of speed and power, so who's to say he can't KO Jake early in the fight? After all, Paul hasn't fought anyone as powerful as Mike, so I wouldn't be surprised if he could finish the problem child with a vicious punch. That said, he and his trainer have also claimed that they don't plan on going in there guns blazing. His trainer has said that it's going to be a very technical match, and that they plan on instilling fear and panic in Jake the whole night because of how much power Mike possesses. But at the same time, Jake's much faster overall, and it'll be easier for him to avoid Tyson's attacks, while Mike will probably have a tough time evading Paul's punches. As we saw in the Roy Jones fight, Tyson doesn't look as crazy as he does on the pads, so if Jake goes in there without fearing Mike much, he can get the win. And as Campbell said, given how old Mike is now, it won't be hard to find his chin and KO him, but that's not what any of us want to see. It's hard to make a prediction as to what exactly will happen, but I just want Tyson to win so he can humble the problem child. So, from the boxing world being shocked by the announcement to everyone wondering who's going to win the fight, that was everything we know about the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.